go out. Pretty even start from the 2 on the front, but again it's Lee Woodward that I think is going to steal a march from Richard Lakey. Toby Partridge is trying to get up into second place as well as they head along the start and finish straight up towards Riches for the first time. Matt Priestwood it is from Theo Millward, I think, in second place in the 116s as they filter their way through Riches corner for the first time. And they head out of Riches now up towards the Wilson hairpin. Very busy circuit up there, as you would expect on the first lap of a one-make race. But I think everyone's through for the moment. There's going 3 or even 4 abreast coming out of the hairpin towards the back of the field. Will Abraham in the 209 car is one of the drivers who's trying to come through the field, I think. He didn't get as far through in the first race as we thought he might. Up to 18th position he was in the end. See what he can do in race 2.
8 at the back there, which is one of the 120s, which is Lewis Tyndall, perhaps opted to start there. Not sure, but he's at the back now. He retired in race 1 as the pack come through the hairpin. The sun glints off the cars, making it difficult to identify them compared to earlier, but it's Louis Woodward who is up front, and well, guess what, the 116s are still 3 abreast as they turn their way through the Oggies double apex right-hander, and battles galore there, really, isn't there? It has to be said. Jack Godden is there, who wasn't on our grid sheet, but he's there starting from the back. I don't think he made the second qualifying session this morning, but has been able to take the start of the race.
Yes, it's, they have 2 back-to-back qualifying sessions, each 10 minutes long, to set the grids for the first and second races, respectively, for this particular competition.
Now, it looks there, Ian, like Chris Bayliss has got himself into the lead of the 116s ahead of race 1 winner Matt Priestwood. That looks like that happened into the Essex.
It's Theo Millward in that car in this race, I think.
Yes.
In number 80, but yes, he's made his way through. That's good. There you can see Jack Godden's car just about at the front of the shot. Here is the 116 lead battle though, and the other car that's involved is 151 Peter Key and Freddie Tatham, not too far behind either, but it is Theo Millward that has the lead amongst the 116s at the moment. The overall lead is still with number 87 Louis Woodward, from number 1 Richard Lakey, and number 57 Toby Partridge in third. And here is the 116 phalanx coming across the line now. Liam Brezett's car you can see there with the orange bonnet and roof amongst them. There's Matt Priestwood, our race 1 winner, going through, but he's second at the moment behind Millward.
Yeah, he couldn't have got much closer to Millward across the line. He was basically pushing him along, but he was unable to get through. So Theo Millward then into the lead on that opening lap. Side by side in all of this is Anthony Seddon and Rhys Jones as well, and Andy Bicknell and Liam Brissett. So it's a huge battle going on there. Into Palmer, there's grass being kicked up, dust being kicked up on the inside of the corner, on the outside of the corner as well. One runs wide a bit further back, but they've all got through. Anthony Seddon at the front of this little group. Andy Bicknell, experienced racer in there, just behind. And he's got himself up ahead of Dan Scott. And then Tommy Fahill also making their way past Liam Brissett. So he's the one that's lost out, I think, in the first part of this lap.
Yeah, certainly looks that way as the cars head through Oggies now and towards Williams. There is some damage on the front of Brezett's car, I can see. I don't know if that's been there all day, but spotted that now. The left headlamp cover has broken.
If this is anything to go by what tomorrow's 116 trophy race is going to be like, it's going to be quite chaotic potentially.
It certainly will be. Usually they are very, very close, aren't they, for the first few minutes up until the early pit stops.
And then we get confused.
And then it gets very confusing because we have 2 mandatory pit stops to deal with that we're all taken at different times. But yeah, it should be good fun.
It's out the window into Coram, a challenge for the 116 lead. So we'll probably pick up on that in a moment. Here they are, and well, this is because Richard Lakey's dropped back, isn't it? So he's caused some confusion. the BMW 120 Coupe that was running in second earlier on, that he's dropped right back into the 116 battle, perhaps with a mistake, and that's just caught a few of them out, I think, and that split the pack up a little bit. So Millward and Priest would have got away, but behind is that Pete Brand that's made the most of it, and he's managed to move up ahead of Peter Keane and Andrew Haddon.
Yeah, so overall leader now is still Louis Woodward, number 87, with Toby Partridge, number 57, up second. Richard Lakey has got himself back up to third, with Theo Millward fourth in number 80, Matt Priestwood fifth, 173, and Freddie Tatham sixth, 89. That's the order on the timing screen at the end of lap 2. It's all a bit close down there, and off the road has gone Liam Brezitz, and also the 111 car of Antonio Almeida Souza as well.
Got broken front left steering, or suspension even. He came into the corner way too hot. That had nowhere to go except for clatter into the side of the other car, and that is damage. That's a car off the road. That was 320, I think.
Simon Hopcroft Lopez, isn't it?
That was an interesting line. But yeah, so that's another damaged car, I think. That's hopefully something that can be repaired for tomorrow. Not sure how the other car came out in all of that. I
think there he is. He continued, and he's behind Jack Godden now. Where's Jack Godden in the order? 21st he was at the end of lap 2. Well, Abraham was 26th.
Yellow flag and the safety car again.
Yes. And I think it's because we've got a broken car in a dangerous position. So safety car heading out onto the circuit as the cars are sort of halfway around lap 3 of this 15-minute race. So we'll see how much more racing time we do get here.
Yeah, I don't think they'll have the option to red flag it and restart this time with the curfew, will they?
No, not at all. So we'll see what can be done. Safety cars there waiting on the grid already. You can see Louis Woodward has seen the safety car boards and slowed down quite considerably.
Others maybe not seen it
yes.
so much.
Well, they've just passed yellow flags there quite clearly, and there's some more, as if you needed them. And that is the reason we've got it, is because that rather beaten up now Antonio Almeida Souza car has come to a stop just on the edge of the circuit at the exit of Wilson. So if that can be dragged out of the way by something, that's probably the best bet. But what have we got? We're already halfway through this race in terms of time, and so we're going to have, one lap behind the safety car is going to take 4 minutes plus, isn't it? So you at most get 2 laps behind the safety car, and then you get to 15 minutes.
I don't know how easy that car is going to be to move.
No, I wouldn't have that as well.
I wouldn't have said it's going to be any easier than the car in race 1, which took some time. So whether we get any more racing, I think, is a big question mark at this stage, which is a shame, because when the racing has been going, it's been pretty frantic, but perhaps a little bit too much, which I wouldn't be surprised at Driver Briefing tomorrow for 116 trophy that's maybe brought up, just to calm everybody down. And there is Antonio Almeida Souza looking on at his damage and thinking, well, that's going to be a lot of work tonight if I'm going to get out to race tomorrow. And the flatbed is already there, so work immediately ongoing to try and make it possible for a race restart. But how easy is this car going to be to drag onto the back of the flatbed?
Well, good work going on here by the recovery crew, but let's just take a moment to say thank you to all of the marshals for their support here at this 750 Motor Club event today at Snetterton. Many thanks to them for all of the hard work that they have done during the course of the day, and we'll look forward to their support again tomorrow. Reminder that the circuit is in use very often here at Snetterton, so next weekend it's MSVR who are back with racing here at Snetterton. Then 2 weeks time, well, guess what, 750 Motor Club are back again for another event. It's also going to be live streamed as well, so whether you can make it to Snetterton or you're watching on at home, you'll be able to watch some more 750 Motor Club action in 2 weeks from now. It's a completely different set of championships that we've got to look forward to.
Yeah, almost the full complement makes its way to Snetterton over a couple of meetings. Always a popular venue with the 750 Motor Club, I think. There seems to be quite a lot of members that live not too far away. So the grids are normally strong, as shown this weekend. So Club Enduro, for example, on that weekend. And Classic Stock Cat, which is always a favourite.
They've done quite well to get that car on the flatbed already, haven't they? It's just a question of how quickly they can get the truck away from the scene into a position of safety, but still got a little bit of time to play with before the cars come around to the end of the lap. If the safety car slows up, we should be all right to get some more racing in.
There's the car that was damaged in race 1. It did get back out there for Sandro Ballesteros, who is running in 17th overall. So good to see the repair. So it shows you these cars can be fixed from a similar damage.
They're relatively robust, and of course they're inexpensive, relatively speaking, as well, which means that I suspect parts are readily available and relatively affordable to do running repairs as well during the course of the weekend. Quite a few teams run cars in the competition as well, in the series, as well as some privateers, so I'm sure there'll always be someone that is carrying the parts that you might need in the paddock and keen to get you back out. So safety car, I think the light's still on at the moment on the safety car,
Right.
although it's difficult to tell, but it's heading through Brundle Nelson.
It's got to come in this time if we're going to get any racing.
Yes, it has. And where's that going to go, that recovery truck? Is that going to head into the infield?
Where's there a gap in the barrier? Right there.
Right there. So we should be good to go, I would think, then, that being the case. Yellow flags are still out at the moment. Safety car has got a wriggle on, which suggests it is going to be a restart this time, and we'll probably by the time they get round here, probably just time for one more lap of action. You could possibly, arguably, squeeze 2 out of this. Just depends how quickly Louis Woodward gets here, really.
Yeah, he's not getting on with it at this stage.
We might not get any more laps out of it at the speed he's going, to be absolutely honest with you. But the safety car's now pulled in. And is he going to go? Is he going to go? Is he going to go, Louis Woodward? With no great enthusiasm, I think by default he's going to get back round to the start and finish line.
I think we will only get one race.
It will only be one race now, because we're down to about 2 minutes 30. A lap time is 2:24, and it's going to be very touch and go, isn't it, as they come across the line? But I suggest probably just one more lap to go, although there is a history of very sort of narrow things going on with last lap boards and checkered flags and things in races here at Snetterton recently. Anyway, on to the final lap they go then.
Yeah, and Theo Millward left a big gap to the leaders. Louis Woodward seems to be defending from thin air. He's got a big gap, but he feels the need to defend anyway. Toby Partridge and Richard Lakey are battling over second. Gap. That's the gap that Theo Millward left. Don't think we've seen him win a race before, have we, Theo?
No, I don't think we have.
So can he do that today? He would become the 5th different winner in the 116 sprint races, which would be a pretty impressive feat. Battles all the way through the pack, but for Theo Millward, it's Matt Priestwood and Freddie Tatham who are chasing at this stage. And here they are, side by side perhaps, into the hairpin. And yes, they are, as Priestwood tries to come around the outside, up the curb. He can't quite make that stick, but it's one long line of 116s, just like it was at the start. Where do we watch? We watch the 120 or the 116s, because Toby Partridge, who I think is being supported by Steve Soper on the pit wall, he's chased by Richard Lakey as they come down into the Williams corner.
Yeah, and although it says on the timing tower and on the timing screens that it's a 116 for Richard Lakey, that's certainly a 120 car that he's racing. He's in 3rd place at the moment behind Toby Partridge and Louis Woodward. So they are heading down the Bentley Straight for what will be the final time in this race. They're quite a long way clear already, even though it was a sort of rolling restart ahead of the rest of them. That's a bit further back outside the top 20. Hopcroft Lopez and James Dunn doing battle there. Try and pick up what's going on as well for the 116 lead as well. But into Coram for the final time comes Louis Woodward, who's going to do the double in the 120 Coupe Cup today. 2nd place still up for grabs, though, I would suggest, with Richard Lakey pushing on to try and get back ahead of Toby Partridge. Meanwhile, I can see it is still Theo Millward ahead in the 116s from Matt Priestwood in second, and Freddie Tatham in third. Up to the line comes Louis Woodward to take the checker flag and win the 120 Coupe Cup for the second time today from Toby Partridge and Richard Lakey. What's happening in the 116s?
Let's see. Has Millward held on? We await till they come. They're absolutely together. But I think Theo Millward's done it. Oh, it's kind of stuff going on behind. But Theo Millward does take the victory in the 116s then by just 0.4 of a second over Matt Priestwood and Freddie Tatham behind.